It wouldn't be true authentic Italian without a bowl of garlic. Garlic has got a couple of different flavors that when you smash the garlic, it breaks down the cell walls, and those two flavors combine to create the standard flavor that you associate with garlic. By roasting the garlic in the oven, you actually break down those cell walls and cause that compound that tastes like garlic to never be made because of the heat. So what you're left with is a mellow, caramelized garlic taste. The easiest way to roast garlic is take the bulb as it is, pop it in the oven for 20 minutes at 350 degrees. It's important to use San Marzano tomatoes if you can find them. These are grown in the village of San Marzano, Italy, which is on the foothills of Mount Vesuvius. It's believed that the volcanic soil actually purifies the water, making for a better flavored tomato. It's a great sauce tomato. A couple things about the tomato that are interesting. It actually has a higher pH than a standard tomato of about 4.6 roughly, depending on which batch you sample. It's not nearly as acidic to your mouth, so it ends up tasting a little smoother than a standard Roma tomato. While our bread is proofing, it's a good time to chop the basil, slice the mozzarella, and put the San Marzano tomatoes on a low heat to simmer long enough to cook off some of the water. When you're cutting your basil, the easiest way to do it is to pile a bunch of leaves on top of each other, roll them up, and then slice them thinly. Interesting facts about basil. The flavor comes from 3 distinct oils. One oil is similar to that found in anise or French tarragon. Another oil has kind of a flower scent to it. And the third gives off kind of a spicy flavor. Depending on which type of basil you have is going to determine what different levels of those 3 oils make up the flavor. Sweet basil tends to have more of the floral oil, where spicy basil tends to have more of the oil that gives it the spicy flavor. A good ball of fresh mozzarella will, as you cut into it, you'll see different layers, similar to that of an onion. Be careful, this stuff is so delicious. If you start snacking on it now, you're not going to have enough left for your pizza. Remember this garlic that we put in the oven a while ago? As you'll see, it's turned brown around the top and become kind of caramelized. The easiest way to prepare this garlic is to simply chop the top off, and you'll notice that it exposes all of the garlic goodness inside. These will ordinarily just squeeze right out. Now that our hour and a half is up, we've taken our dough out of the oven. You'll notice that it's doubled in size. This tells us that the yeast and the enzymes are working, both creating carbon dioxide, also breaking down the glutens to make it easier for us to knead this dough into a more cohesive ball. The next step, we're going to put this on our mixer and mix it for about 5 minutes. Once we're done kneading the dough, we'll sprinkle some flour on the counter to turn the dough out onto. Take the dough ball, pull it out of the bowl, turn it into a ball. Now the way you do that is by tucking the bottom of the dough under and turning it, and then put it on top of the flour. This particular dough is 60% water and 60% flour by weight, meaning for every 10 ounces of flour, we add 6 ounces of water. This is a pretty traditional ratio when you're making bread dough. This is enough pizza dough for 4 pizzas. So we will divide it into 2. Get a little flour to keep it easy to work with in your hands, and then divide it into 2 again. We want to make sure that we do the same thing we did to the big ball of dough to the small ball of dough, and that is taking it and tucking the sides underneath. This way we end up with a good looking piece of dough, and it also makes it easier to roll out in the next step. While our divided dough balls are rising one last time, it's the perfect time to turn your oven up as high as it will go and preheat your baking stone. This particular oven fortunately goes all the way to 550. Traditional commercial ovens will run anywhere as high as 800 plus degrees if they're coal or wood fired. The baking stone acts as a way to whisk moisture away from the bottom of our pizza crust to give us as close to a restaurant quality pizza crust as we can get. Here's another controversial topic. whether to use the rolling pin to roll out the dough or your hands. If you're skilled with your hands and you feel completely confident, you can go ahead and try to take the dough, stretch it out, and spin it. However, as you just saw, it's easy. This one did not touch the floor, by the way. It's easy to lose the dough. Therefore, I prefer to roll it out. Now, when you're rolling it out, the easy way to do it is to take your ball of dough, roll your pin across it one way, flip your dough over, and then roll it in another direction. By doing that, you're able to maintain a nice even circle. As a final step, I like to run my fingers around the dough, pushing the thicker edges out to the, pushing the thicker areas of the dough out to the edge. This will help our sauce to stay within the middle of the pizza dough. Once the oven gets to temperature, take your pizza stone out and transfer your dough onto the top of the warm stone. This does two things. It allows the bread to actually, the crust to start cooking before it actually goes into the oven, and it also makes it easier to put your toppings on the crust before transferring it into the oven. The last step before we take all these separate ingredients and turn it into a delicious masterpiece is take our San Marzano tomato sauce and spread it evenly across the surface of the pizza. Next, we'll take some of our roasted garlic and sprinkle that over the San Marzano sauce. We try not to get too many clumps, but enough to give it some flavor. You'll really smell this in the cooking process. Lastly, we'll put some layers of buffalo mozzarella, starting in the middle and working our way out. The reason we start in the middle is the pizza tends to shift towards the middle as it bakes. You probably noticed that I haven't put the basil on. If we put the basil on at this step, it'll actually cause it to dry out and potentially burn, and you don't want that on a good pizza. So now that we've got the pizza all made, minus the basil, we'll take and put it in the oven on the medium rack. Well, typically this will cook for about 10 minutes. Sometimes I've seen it go as long as 15. The trick is to take a fork and pick up the bottom of the crust with the fork and look under. Once it gets a nice crisp brown consistently across the bottom, your pizza's done. Pizza's done on the bottom. Out of the oven, the last step we do, throw just a little basil along the top of it. People are here, time to start eating. Enjoy your pizza.